Welcome back to the channel where architecture tells stories and homes become experiences. Today, we explore top minimalist farmhouse inspiration, industrial vintage architecture with cozy elegance, a design movement that beautifully balances simplicity with character. Imagine walking into a home where exposed steel beams meet warm reclaimed wood, where concrete floors are softened by linen textures, and where every detail feels intentional. This style is not just about aesthetics, it's about lifestyle. It combines the honesty of industrial materials, the nostalgia of vintage elements, and the calm clarity of minimalism into one cohesive architectural language. Let's step inside and uncover how these elements harmonize. At its core, minimalist farmhouse design is about reducing excess while celebrating authenticity. The architecture focuses on clean lines, open spaces, and functional layouts. However, unlike pure minimalism that can sometimes feel stark, this style introduces warmth through texture and natural materials. The philosophy is rooted in simplicity with purpose. Every beam, window, and surface must serve both function and emotional impact. The farmhouse heritage brings familiarity and comfort, while minimalism ensures clarity and order. It teaches us that beauty emerges not from decoration overload, but from thoughtful restraint and meaningful design decisions. Industrial vintage architecture brings history into modern living. Exposed brick walls, steel frames, black-framed windows, and aged wood surfaces reflect the character of old factories and barns. Yet, in a minimalist farmhouse, these elements are refined and curated. Instead of cluttered industrial chaos, we see balance. Vintage lighting fixtures, antique-inspired hardware, and weathered finishes add personality without overwhelming the space. The key is contrast, raw steel beside soft cotton textiles, rugged wood against smooth plaster walls. This dialogue between past and present creates an interior that feels layered, lived in, and timeless. plays a crucial role in achieving cozy elegance. Minimalist farmhouses often rely on a neutral palette: soft whites, warm beiges, muted grays, and earthy browns. These tones allow architectural elements to shine while maintaining a serene atmosphere. The industrial influence introduces darker accents like matte black or charcoal steel, adding depth and structure. Rather than relying on bold colors, the design focuses on tonal variations and natural light to create dimension. This approach ensures the home feels calm and cohesive, allowing textures and materials to become the main visual storytellers. One defining feature of industrial vintage farmhouse design is the celebration of structure. Instead of hiding beams, columns, or ductwork, the design highlights them. Steel trusses, wooden rafters, and visible hardware become part of the aesthetic. This honesty in construction reflects industrial heritage while adding visual interest. When combined with minimalist principles, these structural elements are organized and symmetrical, preventing visual clutter. The result is an architectural composition that feels authentic and grounded. By exposing the bones of the building, the home tells a story about craftsmanship and material integrity. While industrial materials can feel cold, cozy elegance emerges through thoughtful layering of textures. Soft linen curtains, wool rugs, leather seating, and knitted throws bring warmth to concrete and steel environments. Natural wood, especially reclaimed or lightly finished oak, introduces organic softness. Texture becomes more important than ornamentation. Instead of decorative excess, tactile richness creates comfort. This balance between hard and soft elements transforms the space into a sanctuary. It teaches us that warmth in architecture is not only visual, it is sensory and emotional, felt through materials and atmosphere. farmhouse layouts often feature open concept living spaces. The kitchen, dining, and living areas flow seamlessly into one another, encouraging connection and functionality. Industrial-style pendant lighting may define zones, while large farmhouse tables anchor communal areas. However, openness does not mean emptiness. Strategic furniture placement, subtle ceiling variations, or material transitions help create structure. The design emphasizes spatial clarity and movement, ensuring each area has purpose. This approach reflects modern lifestyles, flexible, social, and centered around shared experiences within beautifully crafted environments. Lighting in industrial vintage farmhouses is both functional and expressive. Oversized metal pendants, matte black chandeliers, or vintage-inspired filament bulbs become sculptural elements within the minimalist setting. Because the overall design remains restrained, lighting fixtures can act as bold focal points without overwhelming the space. Warm lighting tones enhance the cozy atmosphere, especially against neutral backdrops. Thoughtful lighting placement also highlights textures, casting shadows on brick walls or accentuating wooden beams. In this style, lighting is not an afterthought. It is an architectural feature that shapes mood and depth. Large windows are essential in minimalist farmhouse architecture. Black steel frames reflect industrial character, while expansive glazing invites natural light to flood the interior. These windows often frame outdoor landscapes, like living artwork. The connection between indoors and outdoors reinforces the farmhouse identity, grounding the home in its environment. Natural light enhances neutral palettes and highlights material textures, creating dynamic shadows throughout the day. By prioritizing openness to nature, the architecture fosters calm and well-being. It reminds us that simplicity thrives when connected to the natural world. In a minimalist farmhouse, the kitchen becomes the central narrative space. Clean cabinetry with shaker profiles blends traditional farmhouse roots with minimalist refinement. Industrial touches, such as open metal shelving or black hardware, add character. Stone or concrete countertops offer durability and subtle texture. The design focuses on functionality, storage efficiency, and flow, rather than ornate decoration. Beauty comes from proportion and material harmony. The kitchen embodies cozy elegance, practical yet inviting, simple yet rich in tactile depth. It becomes the gathering place where design meets daily life. Vintage elements should feel curated, not cluttered. A reclaimed wooden bench, antique-inspired faucets, or aged mirrors can introduce personality without disrupting minimal clarity. The key lies in balance and editing. Each vintage piece should contribute to the overall narrative, adding warmth and history. By limiting decorative objects, the space maintains its serene identity. This thoughtful curation reflects a deeper architectural lesson. Meaningful details are more powerful than abundance. When vintage accents are intentionally placed, they elevate the minimalist farmhouse into a timeless and soulful environment. Industrial vintage farmhouse design naturally aligns with sustainability. Reclaimed wood, recycled steel, and durable natural materials reduce environmental impact while enhancing authenticity. Minimalist principles also discourage unnecessary consumption. The focus on quality over quantity encourages long-lasting design choices. Concrete floors, solid timber beams, and natural stone surfaces age gracefully, gaining character over time. This sustainable mindset adds educational value to the aesthetic. It teaches homeowners that beauty and responsibility can coexist, and that enduring architecture often begins with honest, thoughtfully sourced materials. Beyond materials and furniture, spatial rhythm shapes the emotional experience of the home. Ceiling heights may vary subtly, creating intimate zones within open spaces. Repetition of materials, wood beams, steel frames, or brick textures, creates cohesion and visual flow. The balance between negative space and focal elements prevents overcrowding. This rhythm ensures the home feels calm rather than chaotic. In minimalist farmhouse architecture, elegance is not flashy. It is felt through proportion, alignment, and thoughtful sequencing of spaces. The result is a harmonious living environment that nurtures comfort and clarity. styling completes the narrative. A ceramic vase on a rustic table, a stack of design books, or a simple branch arrangement can communicate intentionality. In industrial vintage minimalism, less truly is more. Decorative choices should support the architecture, not compete with it. Storytelling happens through subtle cues, textures, heirloom pieces, and handcrafted details. The goal is to create a home that feels personal yet uncluttered. By practicing restraint, homeowners can achieve cozy elegance that feels authentic, grounded, and deeply inviting. As we conclude this exploration of top minimalist, farmhouse inspiration, industrial vintage architecture with cozy elegance, we see that this style is more than a trend. It is a philosophy of living. It merges simplicity with character, rawness with warmth, and history with modern clarity. By balancing industrial elements, vintage charm, and minimalist discipline, we create spaces that feel both refined and welcoming. Ultimately, this design approach teaches us that true elegance lies in thoughtful composition and honest materials. A minimalist farmhouse, when crafted with intention, becomes a timeless sanctuary for modern life.